Hi trader, how are you today? This is Mario from fxotherway, the channel for traders run by a trader. I hope that you are okay, guys, and you managed to avoid all this pandemic madness happening recently on all markets. When in January this year I made a forecast in one of my previous videos regarding market behavior between 16th and 30th of March, I swear I haven't got a clue it will be related to the virus and its consequences. The important thing is that the market geometry and market astrology works, whatever the reason is. In today's video, I'll tell you a little bit about WD Gann ideas he used to call the law of vibration. I'll show you some examples of the market periodicity and market cyclicity. I'll show you as well what cycle periods were these preferred by WD Gann, and in the meantime I'll show you some short examples on the chart, so stay with me and to the end of this video because there will be some tips for you, as well as there will be also the link for a PDF book about cyclicity cycles of the WD Gann. You'll find it on my webpage. So let's start the rock and roll. What WD Gann called the law of vibration is, in my opinion of course, the cyclical nature of any market and the regularity of the market changes appearance on the chart. Because Gann traded commodities, i.e. something like wheat, soybeans, eggs, so it was pretty easy for him to realize that at certain times of the year, these commodities were subject to regular perpetual cyclical changes of the prices. You know, spring, summer, autumn, winter. In spring or summer, in summer and autumn, there's a crop time, so obviously there's big demand as well, but it's big supply from the farmers, so that's the reason why, for example, soybeans or eggs, whatever, wheat is cheaper. So he realized that, and that probably inspired him to find a basis for something he called later on the law of vibration. But do not forget that his unique trading methods included maths, geometry, some numerology and astrology. At least this was resulting from his famous letters WD Gann has written for his students. The students used to pay him thousands of dollars for full training courses, which at that time, today is equivalent to the value, $50,000 per course for a full course. It's quite a lot for a trading course, you reckon? Well, it was five grand that time when Gann was running those courses for his students. Well, we might presume the WD Gann technique was a mix of science and mysticism somehow. However, strange it sounds, this exotic mix gave him unique results in trading, as we might have known from the news from the times from 1910, 1920 when the Gann was trading. Well, but in addition to ordinary algebra, there is mathematical operations. WD Gann used Fourier series, thanks to which he was able to calculate the predicted amount of rainfall in a given year based on historical data, historical measurements from the past. Having calculated the estimated amount of a rainfall in a given year, he could predict how, for example, wheat prices will behave in the future, i.e., whatever the price will be, whether the price will be higher or lower in the given year compared to the previous years. Well, I'm not going to teach you how to calculate Fourier series. It's not the aim of this video, but it's worth remarking that before WD Gann found or discovered the mentioned law of vibration, He spent several months in numerous libraries in the United States and Great Britain and put a great effort into collecting all historical data he required, but knowing that he was a wealthy man later on, these efforts probably paid him off. These days, fortunately, we have computers, and in the meantime we've got all available data easy accessible online, so we don't have to travel around the globe to get those historical market codes. We have this data, at our fingertips, just a few clicks, and you got everything you need for your trading. Based on his research, WD Gann probably found the holy grail of trading. I think his holy grail, it's my opinion, is nothing more than finding the key to the cyclicality of the markets or periodicity of the market. And what WD Gann tell us about the cyclical nature of the market? You probably know WD Gann has defined cycle length. He considered that 60-year cycle is the main market cycle, the major one, the master cycle, he called it, the 60-year cycle. So if you calculate it, let's say there's Big Depression 1929, so it should be the same 60 years later, which is 1989. Well, historically, we knew that the big fall on the market was in 1987, which is not a big difference, but 1989 and 1990 later on, it wasn't good time for trading. It was a bear market at that time, so probably he was right. At the moment, we are 1920. The top of the market at the moment was in 2019. So we are 2020 right now. And last year in December, we had the top of the market, last day of last year, which is 90 years from the Big Depression. And Big Depression started, 90 years. So 60 years, the master cycle. Gann distinguished the smaller cycle, 30-year cycle. He divided 60 years by 2. And so 30 year is a smaller cycle, half of the main cycle, as well as a 15-year cycle as a quarter of a major cycle, and 10 years as 1/6, so what he considered. So he assumed, if we assume that 60 year is 360 degree, a full cycle, then 30 years should be 180 degree. 20-year cycle corresponds to 120 degree. 15 years corresponds to 90 degree, and 10 years will correspond to 60 degree, and so on. The shortest cycle for WD Gann considered was a 5-year cycle, which corresponds to 30 degree on the market. And then he was trying to find how the market changes in this year. Let me show you some example now, very short one, how it looks like. I'll show you, I got a Euro USD over here, and it looks like that. Because actually we are approaching the time roughly between 10 and 20th May recent year, we had some big important events in sense of astrology, and the starts retrograding different planets. I'll show you right now what's happening. We are at the moment on April 28th, so let's go further on. We got Pluto retrograding, Saturn starts retrograding. Look here, 10th of May, Saturn starts retrograding on 11th of May. Few days later, we got Venus starts retrograding. You remember last time I showed you when the planet starts retrograding, going to retrograde motion, something happens on the market. So it's on 13th of May. Next date is on 15th of May. Jupiter starts retrograding. and later on probably we got those 4 planets at the moment. So that's how it looks. 4 planets, 3 planets start retrograding between 10 and 15 or 20th of May. There's something called orb, which is a slippage time in the markets happening. Usually the orb is between 1 to 3 days, in 1 to 2 days in case of slower planets like Venus and Mars, and is 3-4 days slippage regarding slower planets, like Jupiter or Saturn. The slippage is a little bit longer. You might have not remember, on January, for example, Saturn made a conjunction with Pluto on 12th of January this year, and the market the trend turned. There was a top on 16th of January, so the slippage was 4 days. The orb, we say, when the market start falling till 20th of February, making its local low at the time. So we got those dates here. I show you this because probably between 10 and 20th of May, it might be a turning point on the markets, and I give you example on Euro USD. I'll show you. I got the chart over here. This is the weekly chart, and I mark the dates roughly in the area between 10 and 20th of May, starting from 1975. And I'll try to show you 5 years cycles on this chart very quickly, how it looks like. So we got 18th of May, 1975. We got a local top on Euro USD weekly chart. Let's go further. On 11th May 1980, which is 5 years later, we got roughly near the top. We got Euro USD, and the market changed on July, 6th of July. You will find it in PDF. I give a link below. You'll find that around between 3rd and 7th July, WD Gann considered the time when the market changes. Turning points. Very specific one. Let's go further. We got 12th of May 1985. We got local bottom, but it's near the bottom over here. The market just fall in those 5 years. And 5 years, you see, it's the top, and here we got the bottom. Next 5 years, market started rising. And after 5 years, we got a local top here, just 2 or 3 weeks. There was a correction. Let's have a look after another 5 years. Again, we are very near of the top, 14th of May, 1995. Let's go further. 5 years later, 14 May 2000, we are near the local bottom. Again, after next 5 years, we are at the correction area in the middle of nowhere. And again, on 16th of May 2010, we were close to the bottom. That's what happened 5 years later. Another bottom here. There was nothing important. The market was raging that time. And now, the next point I marked roughly about 17th of May, which is 5 years later. And we will see what's going to happen here. Well, I wanted to show you just those 5-year periods. They don't work every time, but they are worth considering when you try to find your market turning points. It works the same with monthly. Try 10 month, 20 month, 30 month and 60 months as a major master cycle. That's how Gann used to consider it. So once again, there will be a link below this video. Get this PDF, read it, and you'll find many more informations regarding market cycles and times when you will find the turning point dates. They are given, WD Gann has given exact dates when market usually turns. So I hope it will be useful for you. Watch my other videos, and I'll see you next time. Take care and bye-bye.